Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin predictions for 2021. You're not going to believe this. There are some insane predictions out there that have come up. Can you believe one analyst is predicting Bitcoin may hit $500,000 by next year? $500,000 by the end of next year. One guy's predicting it. I'm going to cover 3 news stories that are talking about crazy valuations. And I'm going to end with the biggest, the craziest. But now, here's the thing. They're not totally off the rocker. I mean, it's a stretch to think that Bitcoin could hit $500,000 by 2021. We're sitting at about 18,000 right now. But if you realize that Bitcoin went from 4,000 earlier this year, we're up 400% from earlier this year. I mean, that's nuts. So 400% more, say we hit 20,000 by the end of the year, that's 80,000. I'm predicting Bitcoin could hit $100,000 by December of 2021. What's crazy is the first time I mentioned that on this channel, I said it a little earlier in the year, commenters, people were like, oh, that's crazy, that can't happen. But listen, here's why I predicted that then. First of all, understand that 2 years ago, I started a playlist on this channel, Bitcoin going to $1 million. I really believe Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million. There's only one thing that could stop it, and it's an adjustment in technology. I may talk about that a little bit later in the video, but there's only one thing that could stop it from going to $1 million. However, the fundamentals right now for where the technology is at, looking at our economy, understanding what's happened this year in the economy, understanding the government's printing money and they can't stop it. Like they literally cannot stop it. You understand, at this very moment, if any government around the world stops printing money, their economies are trash. They will literally collapse. There's no stopping it. We cannot, as a world economy, at this moment, there's no foreseeable way to stretch our production to the point that we can unwind this pyramid that we have. The US dollar is losing in value constantly. I've known that. I've understood that for a long time. It is the fundamental reason that I got into Bitcoin, because I understood how Bitcoin could change the game for you or me, because the average person is going to get screwed. But listen, there are other people waking up to this now. I know some of you have agreed with me out there for a while. Some of you didn't, but it's okay, because now we're starting to see other people in this space. Traditional financial guys are starting to say, hey, this could go up even higher. There's even one very interesting indicator I'm going to talk about today that I'm not a big technical analysis, but there is one indicator out there that I kind of pay attention to a little bit. I've always talked about, I look at support and resistance, but that's really more or less just enter a position. Most often, I dollar cost average, I earn passive income. Many of you know that I'm on a journey right now to earn $100 a day in passive Bitcoin. It's going phenomenal. I'm up to what, 20? I think I said earlier today when I put out a video, or yesterday when I put out a video, it was 20. I'm up to $23. No, sorry, $26. I think it was 26. I can't remember. Heck, I'd have to go back and look. But anyway, so that's my jam, right? Like, I love to earn passive income. However, everybody should be dollar cost averaging. Everybody should be holding a little bit of Bitcoin, maybe some altcoins up in there. I'm going to do a video soon talking about my top 5 altcoins that I think could go to $1 million each. If you want to know what those top 5 coins are, not top 5 altcoins, top 5 coins, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get into this. This is crazy. So I've got 3 news stories. These are recent news story, 114, November 24th. So we're talking about yesterday. Got 3 news stories to cover. This is crazy. So this one's a little bit moderated. This is some people agree, some people disagree. But let's talk about this. Bitcoin at $100,000 in 2021. Outrageous to some, a no-brainer for backers. Let's talk about this. So Bitcoin investors, which include top hedge funds and money managers, are betting that virtual currency could more than quintuple to a high of $100,000 in a year. Can I say that I hate they use the term virtual currency, and I feel like the person who said virtual currency doesn't actually know what cryptocurrency is, because it's not a virtual currency. It's a blockchain currency based on cryptography. Virtual currency is like video game money. Anyway, it's a wager that has drawn eye rolls from skeptics who believe the volatile cryptocurrency is a speculative asset rather than a store of value like gold. My question to this is, what are the characteristics of a speculative asset? What are the characteristics of a value of gold? You could argue that it's both, but you can't argue that it does not have strong characteristics of a store of value like gold. You just can't argue that. Bitcoin absolutely has the similar characteristics as the store of value. The only thing that gold has, in my personal opinion, and let me know if you agree with this down in the comments, the only thing that gold has as a store of value The one maybe trump card, so to speak, the one benefit, so to speak, that it kind of has is an extensive history as an acceptable store of value. But other than that, that's it. It's not more secure. It's not more transferable. I mean, Bitcoin is all those things. That's why, yeah, let's keep going. Since January, Bitcoin has gained 160%, bolstered by strong institutional demand, as well as scarcity as payment companies such as Square and PayPal buy it on behalf of customers. Bitcoin is within sight of its all-time peak of just under $20,000 that it hit in December of 2017. It debuted in 2011 at zero. It debuted at zero and was last trading at 18,000. Oh, it debuted. Bitcoin was around. Okay, and was last trading at 18,415. Going from 18,000 to 100,000 in 1 year is not a stretch. Brian Estes, chief investment officer at hedge fund Off the Chain Capital. Off the Chain Capital. What an interesting name for a hedge fund. He said, I have seen Bitcoin go 10x, 20x, 30x in a year, so going to 5x is not a big deal. I agree with this. Estes predicts Bitcoin could hit between 100,000 and 288,000 by the end of 2020. Yours truly just said 100,000. I'm still sticking to it. Based on a model that utilizes the stock-to-flow ratio, measuring the scarcity of commodities like gold, that model has a 94% correlation with the price of Bitcoin. Now, I want to show you this quickly because this is the indicator that I like to pay attention to. Look at how well, this is a stock-to-flow model. This is basically kind of the prediction. This is based on, it has a lot to do with the halving of Bitcoin, and it's based on demand. I'm not even pretending like I understand everything about this model, but it's based on, the reason commodities like this model is because it's based on scarcity of the commodities, limited supply, and it talks about the limited supply plus the demand, and they create the stock-to-flow model. Anyway, look how well this thing has been running. I've been watching this since 2018. And look how well it's just kind of stayed along. I mean, it has yet to break off permanently. 94% correlation. By that logic, take a look at this. By December of 2021, now by this one, it says, if you look right there in the red, 24 December, that's Christmas Eve next year, $89,381. That's not far from 100,000, ladies and gentlemen. That's not far from 100,000. Now, the stock-to-flow model says 100,000 by, let's see when it gets there. It says it'd be hit 100,000 right around here, April to March, right in there. Now, as you know, the correlation is not perfect, so I'm still sticking by December 2021. Is it realistic? Let me know what you think in the comments now. Let me know. Citi technical analyst Tom Fitzpatrick said in a note last week that Bitcoin could climb as high as $318,000 by the end of the year, citing its limited supply, ease of movement across borders, and opaque ownership. Those numbers, though, are a head-scratcher for Toronto-based Kevin Muir, an independent proprietary trader. Okay, before I get here to this moron, and I say moron not because he disagrees, because he doesn't, I don't think he could argue, I don't think he could debate this topic at all. At all. I would love to have this guy on the channel. I don't think he can debate this topic, but here's what I'm going to say. If you agree that Bitcoin is the future, cryptocurrency is the future, do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon. Here's what this gentleman said. Any hedge fund model on Bitcoin is rubbish. You can't model a mania, Muir said. It is plausible. Wait, is it plausible? For sure, it's a mania. But does anyone actually have a clue? Not a chance. Stock-to-flow model, 94% correlation. Somebody has a clue, dude. Somebody has a clue. This is the same person who would have called cryptocurrency a virtual currency because they don't really understand what a blockchain cryptocurrency is. This is the same guy. This is the same mentality as the guy a couple of days ago on a YouTube comment told me that Bitcoin doesn't have a limited supply because it's computer generated, so they could print as many as they wanted. Well, yeah, no, that's not what a blockchain is. So this is someone who I think is probably totally clueless. Dearth of supply. So Bitcoin relies on so-called mining, computers that validate blocks of transactions by competing to solve mathematical puzzles every 10 minutes. The first to solve the puzzle and clear the transaction is rewarded new Bitcoins. Its technology was designed to cut the reward for miners in half every 4 years, a movement to curb inflation. In May, Bitcoin went through a third halving, which reduced the rate at which new coins are created, restricting supply. The halving has kickstarted Bitcoin's renewed ascent. Square's Cash App and PayPal, which recently launched a crypto service to its more than 300 million users, have been scooping up all new Bitcoins. Hedge fund Pantera Capital said in its letter to investors on Friday that has caused a Bitcoin shortage and has driven the rally in the last few weeks. Big funds buying. The so-called Well Index, which counts addresses or wallets holding at least 1,000 Bitcoins, is at an all-time high. Man, what like a goal in life to own 1,000 Bitcoin. In our Crypto Passive Profits course, the course I put together, we try to focus on everyone trying to get, the whole goal being everyone get at least one Bitcoin. That's what I would like. I would like everyone in the group. Now there's 92 of us over there now. If you want to join us, I'll put a link in the description. It's $10 a month, but I'm over here like, hey, let's earn passive income. Let's get to one Bitcoin a month, one full Bitcoin a month. This guy's one full Bitcoin total through earning monthly passive income or daily passive income. But this guy's over here talking about the Well Index, 1,000 Bitcoins. I mean, could you just imagine? So Bunnell said more than 2,200 addresses were linked to large Bitcoin holders, up 37% from 1,600 in 2018, suggesting that institutional money has stormed in. Investors like this hedge fund manager and this hedge fund manager have recently touted Bitcoin. Retail investors, though, are still mostly sidelined due to the pandemic's effects on the economy. I don't buy this. I think you need to understand that so much of financial writing is conjecture, meaning they're just trying to make up a plausible scenario. I don't think it's because of the everything that's going on with this word right here. I don't think that's the issue as much. I think the issue is that the retail investors aren't seeing it yet. You got to understand, retail investors are about to get screwed because a lot of retail investors are still people living paycheck to paycheck, people just putting away in a retirement account, but they've been getting stimulus, but stimulus is running out. And politically, unless something happens by the end of the year, I just read an article that said something like 5 million homes are possibly could go into foreclosure by December of this year. Hit the early stages of foreclosure. That's incredible to even think about. So therefore, what I'm getting at is the retail investors aren't fully seeing the effects or feeling the effects of what the government's doing, government inflation. They're not seeing that yet. And I know it sounds counterproductive, but I think when people start seeing the pain, it's going to affect the stock market a little bit. And then the retail investors are going to start looking out at what else is going on. The number crunchers at the hedge funds, they're already seeing the numbers. I have friends who own businesses. One is in the home building. There are whole lines of appliances they can't get at all. They can't even get. They're so far behind. They're 6 and 8 months behind on production that they can't even get these appliances. They're building homes and can't put appliances in them. The average person on the street doesn't know that's happening. I know another person that they install air conditioning units for new construction homes. Their Train dealer, which is an air conditioning brand. I think I said that right. But anyway, they can't get the parts they need from overseas. They literally only had 5 in stock. He bought all 5, and he needs about 8. So, I mean, there's already things happening. There's already metrics showing that the economy is headed for real trouble. But the average person on Main Street getting their stimulus checks so far or getting by, they don't understand that 60% of restaurants are expected to close, never to return. They don't realize that yet. So for them, the current financial system is still working. The stock market still looks relatively good. So they don't see it yet. But I think that's about to change. And for me to see a sustainable rally, we're going to have to see both retail investors and both institutional investors. I'm a fan of the retail investor all day long. I want the average person to get ahead. The elite can do what the elite do. That's on them. But I want the average person to get ahead. That's the whole reason behind cryptocurrency. It's why I created this channel, to help create awareness, to talk about this, to create entertainment, to have something to talk about, to let people know about it. But I want the average person on Main Street getting ahead. And at the end of the day, I think retail investors have to get involved in this rally for it to be sustainable. Let me know. Do you agree with that? Let me know. NEO forecast predicts Bitcoin to reach 60 to 80,000 by the end of 2021. Tempest Currency Trader, he's saying he bet on Bitcoin at $100,000. Oh, this is good. He says he was unimpressed, even shocked with all the lofty forecasts, and said a bet on Bitcoin at $100,000 next year would be a bet on the collapse of the global financial system. That sounds horrible, but this is not impossible. Like, ladies and gentlemen, if you start looking at the numbers outside of the fiat numbers, like if you start looking at some of the stuff I was just talking about and you start reading in depth on what's going on, I mean, I don't want to see a global financial system collapse, but I think it's going to collapse sooner or later. It just is what it is. He says, this guy Juan Perez says that governments around the world won't let that happen. They will not let fiat currencies collapse just like that. There's only so much they can do. I mean, Rome collapsed in part with a financial collapse. When you devalue your currency, at some point, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do. And the last step to propping that up is basically financial serfdom, where the gap between the have and the have-not is so wide, there's almost no middle class. The rich are getting richer. The Jeff Bezos of the world are getting richer. By the way, I don't have anything against the rich people. I have something against people manipulating the system for their benefit. Understand that. That's what I have. I want you to get as rich as you can as long as you provide a value, a service, and you help people along the way. But if you are taking advantage of people or you have unfair political advantage, that's a whole different ball game. Screw you. I don't care about that. And if you agree with me, do me a favor. Smash that like button. Now's a good time to do it. So I do believe we could see the financial collapse, at least some major systemic financial hardships. And therefore, I could definitely see Bitcoin going to $100,000. And I don't think we would have to see a collapse for it to get to $100,000. By the time we have a financial collapse, we're going to see Bitcoin going north of, probably north of $300,000, north of $500,000, which I don't think Bitcoin is going to go to $500,000 next year. But this is just one story. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seatbelts. We got some more to go. Check this out. Bitcoin could be on track to hit $74,000, trader says, as cryptocurrency approaches all-time highs. So Bitcoin's boom just the beginning. The cryptocurrency comeback could go exponential next year. Two traders said Tuesday after Bitcoin broke above 19,000 and rallied nearly 3.5%, closing in on its 2017 record highs. Bitcoin is up over 166% year to date, buoyed by bullish sentiment tied in part to, of course, PayPal and Square. It's hard to give Bitcoin. Here's the most important part. Let me back up and say this. The most important part is not that PayPal and Square purchased it. It's that PayPal and Square serves the retail investors. It's that they actually think, they sense. PayPal and Square, listen, it's fine that some big hedge fund manager looks at the economy and sees weaknesses and realizes, hey, I need to diversify away from cash. Hey, I need to find, I need to go gold. I need to go Bitcoin. I need a store or a digital store of value. That's great. That's awesome. But when PayPal and Square, when they start thinking that the average retail investor might want their products, so they need to start getting into crypto. See, to me, that fundamental there is the most important part. It's hard to give Bitcoin intrinsic fundamental value because there's pretty much a finite supply. Todd Gordon, founder of Trading Analyst, told CNBC Trading Nation on Tuesday. Only 21 million Bitcoins will ever be produced. Less than that because many have been lost and destroyed already. To try and see where the trade could be headed, Gordon used a concept known as Elliott wave. Now, this is where it got crazy. He predicted between 74,000 and 34,000 using the Elliott wave indicator. Let's keep going. This is where it gets very, very interesting. No debate. The Bitcoin will increase 20x, says Gold Industry Insider. See, for me, the most fascinating part about this guy is that he's in the gold industry. When the gold guys start seeing value in Bitcoin, that's a big deal. For so long, so many people have seen it as physical gold versus Bitcoin, digital gold. And they think it's some sort of a competition to prove which one is right. No, they're both good. They serve different purposes, but both are solid. Both are going to be going up in value. Let's listen to what this guy said. $500,000. I want to know if you think he's crazy. Let's read it first. I want you to read it first. Don't just insta comment. Let's go through it. It's a short little article here, but I want to hear what your thoughts are. And by the way, I want to say this. If you're new getting into Bitcoin and you hear me reading through this and you hear me evaluating this and you don't know necessarily how to make heads or tails out of this, but you feel like there's something here, I'm going to put a video down in the description, and I'll put it above as well, on cryptocurrency investing for beginners. How to invest in cryptocurrency as a beginner in 2021. That's what the video is called. I have gotten more subscribers probably from that video than just about any other video that I've gotten. Like, I've got a lot of subscribers, which tells me there's a lot of people wanting that content. I encourage you to go watch that video because it is a masterclass on just the basic fundamentals of what you need to understand before you get started in this incredible space. All right, Don Tapiero, however you say that, told Anthony Papalanio, however you say that $15 trillion in institutional capital could flow into Bitcoin, pushing prices as high as $500,000. See, you don't got to see a global collapse. I mean, he's talking about institutional capital here. Gold Bullion International co-founder Dan Taptiero, however you say that, Dan, believes that it's only a matter of time before Bitcoin price surges into the six-figure threshold. I believe this. This is going to happen in the next 12 months. I believe it. Speaking to Anthony on the Pomp podcast, Tapiero asserted that in terms of price appreciation, Bitcoin is the king. Even though he believes investors should own both gold and Bitcoin, in the next 5 years, I can see gold at $4,000. So that's double. But if gold is at $4,000, Bitcoin is probably somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000. So that's a 20 to 30x. He went on to add, I don't think that anyone in the gold world, they're not going to debate that. Tapiero believes that institutional investors and finance whales are likely to invest between 5 to 15% of their portfolio in Bitcoin, noted that the sector was currently worth $100 trillion. That's a huge chunk. I mean, 15% of $100 trillion is $15 trillion. Bitcoin is a hedge for the fiat system, he explained. And once its market cap is in the trillions of dollars, it will become easier to handle for large investors, similar to gold. But gold is a store of value, and that is only one aspect of what gold is. Here you go, right here. Bitcoin is an entire network, and that's why he believes it will be bigger than gold. There's no question that Bitcoin is going to outperform gold. I do agree with that. Other analysts are similarly bullish about Bitcoin with off-the-chain capital. We've already talked about him saying $100,000 next year. Jim Cramer also believes the future of Bitcoin is revealed on another podcast with Papalanio. Cramer, who was a Bitcoin skeptic during 2017 bull market, recently stated that he had since realized that Bitcoin is a good hedge against inflation and also one that his kids can understand. I think that my kids, when they get my inheritance, won't feel comfortable with gold and will feel comfortable with crypto. Isn't that saying something, ladies and gentlemen? Isn't that saying something? $500,000. Now, I think he said he thought it could happen within 3 to 5 years, not 2021. Not 2021. But this other guy saying 288. Citibank's analyst is saying 300,000 plus. $500,000. And this is in 3 to 5 years. Listen, when I was talking about Bitcoin listen to me for a moment. When I was talking about Bitcoin going to $1 million, people couldn't wrap their brains around it. They couldn't wrap their brains around it. But what they didn't realize that Bitcoin had already went up at such crazy percentages that all it would need to do is go up another fraction of those percentages again. That's it. You know, Bitcoin at one point was at $1, 50 cents, $2. You understand that now to be trading at almost 20,000, what X percent that is? Just going up a fraction of that more easily gets it to $1 million. Like, it is possible. I don't talk about it on my channel, but it is possible that Bitcoin could go to many millions per Bitcoin. Now, with that being said, people raise questions about this all the time. And they say, well, you know, how can it do that? There's only 21 million Bitcoin. Because you can divide a Bitcoin all the way out to 1 Satoshi, which is 8 places to the right. So you can they'll be dealing very much in fractional Bitcoin. But everybody should own 1 Bitcoin. Everybody should own 1 Bitcoin. You should be dollar cost averaging. You should be earning passive income with crypto. Now, there's one caveat. I believe, here's my prediction. Here's my prediction for 2021. And I've just been giving one prediction, $100,000. I'm going to tell you 3 things that I think may or may not happen that we need to be aware of, my thoughts on it in 2021. Okay? I'm going to lay it out for you. But before I say that, let me finish what I was saying before. You need to be earning passive income in crypto. You need to be, when you're earning it passive, it's easy to stack it. You don't have to look at it. You don't pay attention. You just move it to a wallet, move it to a wallet, move it to a wallet. You need to be earning passive income in crypto, 100%. 100%. You need to be earning passive income in crypto. I got a video coming up tonight. I've got the Crypto Passive Profits course. The link is in the description. Come join us in the course. It's $30 a month. Right now, the course is in development, so we're running a promotion. It's only $9.99 right now, so $10 a month. So, I mean, if you're serious about crypto, you got $10 a month. Come join us. There's about 92 of us over there. We hang out in Discord. We talk. We share strategies, share techniques, like minds working together, building passive income, stacking cryptocurrency because we believe that this cryptocurrency is going in the future. I mean, we got a whole group over there. We're literally building a revolution. We're getting to know each other. We're hanging out. We're conversing. I feel like we're like becoming friends. We're moving forward in the same common direction. I swear to God, we're going to be like the elitist group in all of crypto, meaning elitist as far as we're going to have some of the best wealth, some of the best passive income streams, because very few people really talk about this stuff in a long-term mindset. But anyway, neither here nor there. Let me give you my thoughts on crypto in 2021. What can happen all the way around? First and foremost, I believe that crypto will at least hit $100,000 by December of 2021, with one caveat, and that is going to be government regulations. So let's assume that we don't see regulations. What do I think can happen? Are we going to go straight to 100,000? No, I don't think so. I think that wherever we're at by December 31st of 2020, whatever that number is, let's say that it could be 15,000. It could be 20,000. It could be 25,000. Let's just, whatever that number, it could be 30,000. Whatever that number is, I suspect that as long as we don't see negative government regulations on the retail investors, because I do think that's the heart of all this. If we don't see negative government regulations preventing retail investors from buying cryptocurrency, that negative regulations that are making it difficult to own, difficult to buy, difficult to trade, as long as we don't see negative regulations, then I think that whatever the price is at the end of 2021, and I want to know what your thoughts are on this. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with this, disagree, what your thoughts are. So so whatever the price is on December 31st, 2020, then I suspect that we could see, as long as we don't have negative regulations, we will not see a pullback that goes any more than 50%. Now, to some of you that aren't familiar with crypto, a 50% pullback sounds extraordinary. And I don't know that it will be a sharp pullback, but we may see some consolidation. We may see some pullback, some weaknesses, especially if we see the price jump up to, say, 30,000. The faster the price jumps up, the bigger the pullback I think will be, the more volatile it will be. But I don't think, I'm going to predict now, and you can subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, follow me along. Let's see if this happens. But I don't think that we're going to see more than a 50% pullback. We may only see 35 or 40% pullback. And this is going to be big because this year we got all the way down to $4,000. If we don't see negative government regulations, I don't think we'll see, anywhere near that. So if we end up at $20,000 plus by the end of 2020, then if that happens, then we won't see Bitcoin below $10,000 as long as we don't have negative government regulations. Now, if we have any negative government regulations that severely impede purchasing, maybe they don't allow exchanges in the U.S., or they say U.S. citizens can't buy, or you're limited to how much you can buy, all that's possible. All that has been done and tried in different parts of the world. And at one point, gold was banned in the U.S. not all that long ago, like in the 70s, I believe it was. So, all that stuff can happen. Don't assume that it can't happen. If that were to occur, then I believe we could see as much as a 90% drop in Bitcoin if that were to occur. I don't know if it's going to happen, and I don't know that I think that if it does happen, it won't be as strict. That's my belief. Let's see what happens. Meaning I don't think they'll necessarily. Now, I'm okay if Bitcoin drops 90%. Please understand. I am dollar cost averaging. I am earning passive streams. I am compounding those streams. I am okay if it pulls back, and I'll tell you why. At this point in time, I don't want to see $500,000 Bitcoin. I don't. I really don't want to see $100,000 Bitcoin. I don't. I was hoping I was going to have a few more months and a few more years to stack. Why? Because I want to buy it today for 100, and I want it to be 1,000 tomorrow, or in the future. I don't want to be buying it on the way to the 1,000 just yet. And I'm using round numbers. But I want to be stacking now. I mean, my income streams are going up. Like they're going up exponentially. Just a few months ago, what I'm earning now would have been about $13. Now all of a sudden, it's $26, which is fine. You're earning it every day. It's fine. But that $26 is less amounts of Bitcoin. So it's worth more. It's just a little bit less Bitcoin. And I want the number of Bitcoins. I want to get to one full Bitcoin, not just passively. Like on this passive strategy, I want to know that I can stack one full Bitcoin, and I want other people to be doing that. Dollar cost averaging is separate, but I'm talking about right now. We're talking about the passive income stuff. Now, dollar cost averaging, am I going to get to 1,000 Bitcoin? No. Well, I mean, if we go down to 90, listen, mark my words. If I ever see $5,000 Bitcoin, the day I see a $5,000 Bitcoin, I will buy one. The next time it hits $5,000. The next time Bitcoin hits $3,000, I will buy one. May buy two. If Bitcoin ever hits $1,000 again, if it ever does, no matter the fundamentals, you can hold me accountable, watch my videos, I'm telling you now, no matter the fundamentals, if it ever hits $1,000, I'm buying 10. That day. Why? Because I believe no matter what, governments can try to stop it, but eventually they can't stop it. They can dissuade you from doing it. They can make it illegal. They can threaten you with jail time. But at some point, they are going to wreck the financial system so badly. I mean, they're already on the way of doing it. Like they're already doing things to the financial system that cannot be undone. Do you understand? Like where interest rates were 20, 30 years ago, we will never see that again. The rate of inflation that is taking place, like real world inflation, not government data inflation, real world inflation. Real world inflation is taking, we will never see that again. Those low inflation levels that we had in the past. It's not going to happen. There's only so much production capability, for example, in the U.S. Right now, the U.S. is a world reserve currency. There's a real possibility within the next 2 to 5 years, the world reserve currency status is lost. And you might not know what that is, but it means that the U.S. government cannot easily pay off their debts just by printing money and borrowing money. That is a problem, and that will be a systemic problem for the entire world. But if they don't, if it remains the world reserve currency, then essentially it's going to be like, you earning your $15, $20 an hour. Minimum wage goes up to $20 an hour, but everybody's still broke because $20 doesn't buy anything. $20 an hour is like, $5 an hour now. So everybody's still broke. That's what happens with inflation. And inflation is happening faster and faster and faster. They're printing more and more and more money. Eventually, as we feel the effects of the inflation, there's no stopping it. Like, you understand, cryptocurrency is the future. It's not going anywhere. It is decentralized cryptocurrency that's not under government control. It's not going anywhere. So if it ever goes to $1,000 again, I promise you, I'm buying at least 10 Bitcoin. At least 10 Bitcoin. Because I truly, genuinely believe at some point it goes to $1 million plus per Bitcoin. By the way, none of this is financial advice. I'm just a YouTuber. I'm in this space every single day. I'm learning. I'm reading. I'm investing. I'm making things happening. I'm building businesses over here. I'm educating. I'm conversating. So I'm in it. I'm paying attention to it. I'm reading the headlines. I'm reading the economic headlines. I've been an amateur, economist. Yeah, that tells you about where I'm at. Economist. I've been an amateur economist for a long time. Like as a hobby, I read about this stuff, which most people find nerdy, but I see opportunity. I see a revolution coming. I see something that is so extraordinary, life-altering. The way we understand finances are going to, all of it is going to crypto eventually. And it looks like now, at one point I was like, we may see $1 million Bitcoin in 50 years. No, we might see $1 million Bitcoin inside of 10 years or 12 years. We might. We might see it. And we might see it because of some sort of economic collapse. And when I say collapse, maybe a better term, because it has such a negative connotation, but maybe a better term is an economic, shift, a shift. Like wealth is getting shifted away from the hands of the politically connected. Wealth is getting shifted away from the uber rich that has all the ability to manipulate lobbyists, or to hire lobbyists to manipulate politicians, however you want to say it. And now it's coming down to the average person, you and me. Crypto's, I'm telling you, I always sign off my video saying crypto equals freedom. Decentralized crypto, that is, equals freedom. I absolutely mean that. I fully believe that. Ladies and gentlemen, this technology is extraordinary. Blockchain is unreal. The number one use case for blockchain is currency. It is store of value. No question about it. I appreciate you listening to me. If you're still here, God bless you. Go down into the comments and just put Bitcoin 2021. And let me know what you agree with, what you don't agree with. I'm looking forward to hearing about it. I want to conversate down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the video, down in the description, I'm going to put my video up talking about cryptocurrency investing for beginners. If you're new to this space, you want to figure out how to get into it, that video is full of just like common sense advice. It's not personalized to anyone. It's just common sense advice for the brand new person. Thank you so much for watching. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.